again, more hands than I would have expected. And because the reason why is because even though she is American, or was American when she was born, she did not become a famous person here in this country. She actually went to France and became very famous in France. You will hear about how and why. But growing up in France, of course, I would hear about her. I didn't know her that much, but there is a song that you will hear in this performance that every French person knows for sure because it's just goes through the generation. And also in 2021, I think maybe 22, she got inducted in the Pantheon. So I don't know if you know this place. So in Paris, we have this old building for the illustrious people of France, and for the people who have died, where we receive the coffin of the bodies of the illustrious people, which actually is written for the illustrious men of France, and because for a long time the only illustrious people that could be were men and white men. And at some point, okay, some women began being accepted in it, like Mary Curie. And Curie, I don't know how to say it in English. Curie, something else. And then there was also, I think there was one person of color also, but there was never a person who was feminine gender and a person of color. And so she is the first person who was inducted in the Pantheon. So that was a big deal because of who she was, because of what she did, and because of this fact that she was a woman of color who came in this Pantheon. 8th graders, we do hear you though. Okay, the have fun check. And yeah, so for this piece where we bring, I wanted to tell you. So she came to France in the 1920s and then continued her career as a dancer, an actress, and so on. And it is at this time that Eurythmy was created and developed in Switzerland and Germany mainly. That's where they toured everywhere, but they were rehearsing in Switzerland. And at some point, the director of the troupe, who was Mary Steiner, invited Josephine Baker and asked her, this is someone who told me, so I can't quote exactly what she said, but something in the lines, what do you think about it, what should we change, or something like that. And she answered, after witnessing Eurythmy, she answered, just continue doing what you're doing. So I brought this to the students. They thought it was cool, and I think it's also a good link for them, for the story and what it means, and what they're doing in Eurythmy. In this piece, because she was a dancer, so I chose this person to bring to this one class because there are so many of the students who are dancers, and that was a good thing because as I wrote this piece and chose all the musics and dances, of course I had to include some dances of the time, and I thought, yes, I'm going to learn them. I don't know how to dance a Charleston. So I thought, fine, I'm going to learn them. But then time came, and I was so busy, and I was feeling overwhelmed and stressed. I just thought, they can do it. So I asked them first, of course, but I tasked the students with different things. And I tasked one student to learn the Charleston and teach it to her classmates. And she did it so beautifully. I was over there. They were just doing things here. It was just beautiful, so amazing. And so many of the dances, other dances, are just another student saying, here's the link to the video, please bring it, and please teach it to your students. So they were really involved in the artistic process in many ways. Not just this, but each one of the students had one thing in the piece where they would be leading the others in some way or another. Because this is not a piece that is built on having solely. It's more everybody doing everything at the same time. And I wanted to say one more thing, which is that this music, so there are some dances that are not Eurythmy, that are embedded in, and there are also some music that are very far from the repertoire that we usually have in Eurythmy, especially jazz music, that because it's jazz does not have written music. And so what I did beginning in August, I sent Mr. Giacomo videos, and I could find some written music sheet. And I said, look at this video, and I found a music sheet. Music sheet. I know, there are some words I should not never say. And some I could not find any recording music sheet or anything. And Mr. Giacomo just went and transcribed everything, and I was like, I need this, and I need this shorter, and he transcribed it shorter, and I need this to change, and I need a little, and he would just, and what about this video, the beginning of this video, and this music, and he did it all. Plus, so this is the music you heard, this is we are so lucky to have Mr. Giacomo here. Plus, there is one piece that is actually a piece by Franz Liszt, which, if you know anything about piano, it's extremely difficult to play. Could you play this by any chance? Just the beginning? He was very stressed, but he said yes to everything, and you will see this is just amazing what he did. And we also have a guest musician here, Clem, who accepted to play a piece for the 8th grade, and he has been working for many months. So we are very lucky about that. And I was going to say one last thing about this, the music. Well, right now I can't remember, but at the end maybe I will remember. So now, are we waiting for another person, or are we good? Is everybody here? I guess. Perfect. Okay.
You want to move? He was trying not to do it.
Yeah, he was.
So the story of Josephine Baker.
Bonjour. Bonjour, Madame Baker. Sorry, je ne parle pas français. Can we switch to English?
Sure. Who are you?
I am journalist and marketer. Your mother, Miss Josephine Baker, has been inducted into the Panthéon in Paris, the nation's hollowed-out tomb of heroes. This is a very big honor. So far, only reserved for illustrious white men and very few white women. I would like to write a play about her, and I would love to hear the voices of one of Josephine's children.
Well, it's about time you people found an interest in my mother. It's not in the United States she'd be pantheonized.
We don't have a pantheon here, but yes, I totally hear you. That's why I would like to write a play, so that children know her. And for France, too. She was the first black woman to achieve this level of fame. Maybe even the first woman, period. Well, thank you for speaking with me. Your English is excellent, by the way.
Oh, you know my mother adopted all of us, her 12 children, each from a different country, culture, or color. Her rainbow family, she called us.
In the sticky heat of a St. Louis summer, 1906, a child was born to a washerwoman and a wandering musician of Spanish blood. Frida Josephine MacDonald, they called her. A name that would grow to be as big as the world, yet began in a shivering, threadbare house, near where human beings were once sold. Poverty hung thick in the air, like the Missouri humidity, and young Josephine knew the bite of winter in her bones, the ache of hunger in her belly. not learning, where teachers wanted silent, obedient faces. But Josephine's face refused to be quiet. It danced and contorted, telling stories of its own, making the teachers frown. The face is not made to sleep, she would insist, her defiance a flicker of the spirit that would carry her far. The streets of St. Louis were etched with the harsh lines of segregation, where black folks had their own water fountains, their own seats on the buses, their own spaces, always lesser. Josephine saw it all, felt it in the marrow of her being. Yet, in the music and dance that echoed through the narrow alleys, she found a balm for her soul. Here was her childhood, a pair of bare feet on cold ground, and a body that danced to keep warm. School ended early for Josephine, just 8 years old. She took work with a white lady, caring for little dogs, running errands, cleaning, but underfed and relegated to a closet to sleep. She fled when the lady's violence erupted. To earn money to live, she danced in the street. By the time she was 10, Josephine had fashioned a makeshift theater in the basement. The entrance fee, 1 pin, and every night the show went on. Curtains stitched together from rags, candles perched on cans, lighting the stairway. The audience, a ragtag bunch of neighborhood kids, sat on crates, eyes wide with wonder as Josephine took the stage. She had pilfered her mother's high heel and donned a dress that swallowed her whole, turning her into a comic sight, a deep-sea diver on land. New York, the city of lights and shadows. New York City, during the Harlem Renaissance, buzzed with an energy that was electric and alive. Josephine found herself in the chorus line of the Broadway musical Shuffle Along, where her comedic timing and unique presence drew her from the back row to the front. She understood the power of laughter, the way it could lift her above the mundane struggles of life. And then, ta-da! She was offered a job for the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées at Paris. Josephine embarked on a boat for France. Goodbye, New York. Goodbye, St. Louis. Goodbye, frozen little girl. Goodbye, burnout streets rats. Goodbye. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays, and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stokes down his narrow cage seldom sees through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but long for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. Josephine
French had more ideas about black in Africa than in North America, and the performers from New York didn't fit those biases. The French were rediscovering African arts. It was exotic. My mother, whose skin was light and who could improvise in a new situation, was given the first ever role in danse sauvage, savage dance, half naked with a costume made of bananas. Of course it was racist and sexist.
That's bananas.
At first she refused, but then she decided to make it a comic show. She made a sensation. She was a complete original. A joie de vivre that defied the confines of race, gender, and culture. Sure, Josephine became famous overnight as an African dancer, but when you're a black woman, you have to stay in between the lines. You have to be exotic, of course, but don't be too black. She fought hard in an attempt to make people see beyond her skin color and femininity, while never pretending to be someone she was not. She was black and talented.
A few years later, she performed a song in white face, wearing a blonde wig, a song about the privileges of being white and the supposed happiness that comes with being white. Moi, si j'étais blanche, sachez mon bonheur. Près de vous s'épanche, garderait sa couleur. Me, if I were white, know that my happiness, which next to you flows, would keep its you. Josephine had become one of the most famous performers in Paris. Slowly she moved from dancer and comic to singer and actress. She could unleash her artistic freedom in France, and France adored her. It was a true love story, which she immortalized in her most famous song, J'ai deux amours, about her true love for her country and Paris. I want to serve a country for which I'll always have a debt, even to the cost of my life. France made me who I am, despite all prejudices. France made me what I am. I am ready to give my life to France. And she becomes a spy for the resistance army to the Germans. This heart that hated war now throbs for combat and battle. This heart that once beat only to the rhythms of the marshes, the seasons, the hours of day and night, now swells and sends through my veins a blood infused with self-hatred and hatred, sending such a noise in my brain that it whistles in my ears, such a noise that must be spreading through towns and fields, that the sound of a church bell calling the people to riot and combat. Listen. I hear it returning to me in echoes. But no, it is the noise of other hearts, millions of other hearts like mine, beating all across France. All these hearts beat to the same rhythm for the same duty. They sound like the sea crashing against the cliffs. And all that blood carries to millions of rain the same command. Revolt against Hitler, death to his supporters. Though this heart hated war and beat to the rhythms of the seasons, one word, liberty, sufficed to awaken the old anger. And millions in France prepare themselves in darkness for the task that the coming dawn would impose on them. Because those hearts that hated war beat for liberty, for the rhythms of the seasons and the marshes, day and night. The war has ended. Josephine is ready to build a family. She cannot have children. Orphans are plenty. She thus decides to adopt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 children, all from diverse countries, races, religions, creating her rainbow tribe. She wanted the world to see that racial equity was possible, that children of different backgrounds could grow together in peace. Josephine Baker lived by her own nature, embodying resilience, grace, and an undying spirit of freedom. She was a simple soldier in the fight against oppression, her life a testament to the power of living true to oneself.
That's how she became the only woman to speak at the famous March on Washington, her voice echoing across the crowd.
I am not a young woman now, friends. My life is behind me. There is not too much fire burning inside me. And before it goes out, I want you to use what is left to light that fire in you, so that you can carry on, and so that you can do those things that I have done. Then, when my fires have burned out, and I go where all go someday, I can be
Yeah, that would be.